Every day I spend my time drinking wine, feeling fine, waiting here to find the sign that
Hello, my name is Louise Sydbeck from Riviera Wine, and today we're going to talk about wine tasting. So the difference between wine tasting and just drinking wine is really where you put your attention. Your focus has to be on your palate, on your nose, and to get under the skin of the wine and really understand what's happening. That's the best way, and I would say the only way to learn about wine properly. Wine tasting has 4 elements to it. First, you look at the wine, you smell the wine, you taste the wine, and then you think about the wine. When you look at the wine, there are different aspects to consider. It's first the color. Is it deep or light in color? That can relate to the climate, where it comes from, the type of grape variety. Then you look at the shade of the wine, if it's more purple, if it's red, or if it's more brown in color. Purple, red would be a sign of youth, and if it's more bricky or brown, it will be a sign of age. For white wines, on the other hand, it will be a paler greenish hue or shade will be a sign of youth, and a more golden, deeper yellow would be a sign of some maturity, or possibly grape variety or winemaking techniques even. The last thing to look at when you're of the appearance of the wine is these legs, or tear as you call them. That's how slowly and how thick those tears or legs on the inside of the glass appears to you. Those relates to the viscosity of the wine. That can be sugar content, alcohol, or the concentration of the wine. So that's about the appearance, and now it's time to smell the wine, and that's a very important part when it comes to wine tasting. I spin the glass around like this to put air in the glass and to really maximize all the aromas to come out of the glass. If you don't have a good spin in the air, you can always spin it on the tabletop. The main thing is to make sure you get a lot of air into the wine. You will smell so much more beautiful aromas then, if there is any there. Most people find it quite difficult to describe aromas because it's not something we do on a daily basis. It can be simple then to think in 3 different families of smells. Is it from fruit? Is it fruit-linked smells or aromas? Or is it aromas coming from the oak? Or is it aromas coming from the soil, more earth-linked aromas? So if we take this wine from Tuscany, for example, it smells of black cherry, blackberry, perhaps a bit of red cherry as well. So that's most of the fruit we have here. It also have a floral note of some violets. In terms of oak aromas, we have quite sweet cloves, some toast, some roasted almonds. All that is coming from the oak. And then we also have some earthy elements, like there's some truffles and some, like when you crack a branch from a fresh tree, that's how this wine smells. Sometimes you have to use your imagination. A very complex nose. It smells of a lot of beautiful things. Then we taste the wine. When you taste the wine as opposed to drinking it, you tend to pull a bit of air onto your palate. That will activate the nose from the behind, and you will taste so much more. On the palate of the wine, when you taste it, you talk about the level of acidity, if it's high or low acid or medium, if it's full-bodied or light-bodied, if it's dry or sweet or medium sweet. And for red wines, you also talk about the tannins, the level of tannins. The tannins in a red wine is what makes your palate go all dry. So some red wines, especially when they're young, can have high tannins, and some of them have much lower. Also, it can depend on which grape variety it comes from. And then the last bit of wine tasting is thinking about the wine. Thinking about the wine is relating to your conclusion, and it can be as simple as if you like the wine or not, and if you did like it, what did you like or what didn't you like, so you know that for future reference. Or it can be on a more professional level to assess the quality of the wine or to assess the maturity of the wine. The 2 latter ones you need a bit of experience, tasting experience, to properly assess the quality or the maturity, but that comes with practice, and the only way you can get better at wine is to taste a lot. So I hope you learned something about wine tasting today, and I look forward to seeing you very soon again. Bonne dégustation!